Welcome to the Inner Sanctum, YouTube viewers. Always wanted to do that cool little James Bond villain spin around reveal thing. Feels kind of appropriate for what we're about to talk about in this video. You know, talking about a political ideology. I guess that's what you would refer to it as. That's very like cartoonish and James Bond villain kind of weird, totally unbelievable shit that people are investing time and effort into preaching this ideology. What we're about to talk about right now is the birther movement. For those of you who don't know what that is, I'll explain a little bit about it. It's a group of individuals that do not believe that President Barack Obama was born in the United States, or that he's not a true citizen of the United States of America. Whatever. And there's irrefutable evidence out there that contradicts what they're saying, and it really, I just don't know how anybody can believe in this ideology. And so I'm putting together this video because, anytime I try to engage in some sort of thoughtful discussion on the internet and, I provide evidence for what I'm talking about, my comments are mysteriously deleted, and then I'm called things like a peckerhead, and, I'm an ignorant ass because I don't believe in conspiracy theories, because we did land on the moon, by the way, yeah. I'll provide some links in the box. I guess the box would be over in this direction, on YouTube. Big gray box. But let me just run down like a little list of what's going on right here. Evidence that contradicts what these people are saying. Chris Matthews of CNN's Hardball, on camera, has a copy of the birth certificate, but verifies there's a seal there, that it's notarized, and everything that should be happening on that birth certificate is happening on it. Another commentator for CNN, Rick Sanchez, same thing, has one in hand, brings up a web page of an independent organization called factcheck.org that verifies verify whatever the fuck they want to verify. Check.org, if you log into their website, they have an article saying they have seen, they have touched, they have photographed in many different angles this, said birth certificate. There was Associated Press articles of, that interviewed, I cannot pronounce the lady's name correctly, so I'm not even going to try, but she's the director of Hawaii's Department of Health. And also another individual, the Registrar of Vital Statistics. Both of them quoted as saying that his birth certificate is on file in Honolulu, I believe. Also, a couple other little tidbits of evidence to contradict this. In 1961, there were, I think 2 days after his birth, there were, it was a birth announcement, and I believe 2 separate newspapers in Honolulu. Okay, yeah. Let's see, 2 cases that are brought up against, brought to the Supreme Court about this issue have already been thrown out, pretty much laughed out of court. Finally, I'm reluctant to say this, but I think this is one of the most damning pieces of evidence in this thing right here. Fox News. Fox News is Bill O'Reilly. The O'Reilly Factor, the no spin zone, man. Mr. Bullshit himself. He even says this story is crap. What you're about to see here in a minute, I'm going to enact what I feel is like what these people believe in, how this plan to overthrow the United States of America went into action 40 years ago. I'm going to use some toys and some props to reenact this all, but bear with me. This is the only way I can figure I can break things down on somebody's intellectual level that they all understand. Like, use models and be like, Sesame Street, Muppets, woo, bright colors. Today's show is brought to you by the letter F and U. But whatever. But just to tell you about who is in charge of this movement, or kind of leading it, or just not doing anything properly to suppress it either. I'm not labeling anybody as a lead, quote-unquote, figurehead or person that's solely driving this. First and foremost, I think I had to talk about a lady by the name of Orly Taitz, I guess is how you pronounce her last name. I'm not quite sure. California woman who is a lawyer, a dentist, and a real estate agent. But she's representing one major, Stephen Cook, who is suing, refusing to be deployed back to, I think, Afghanistan, because he believes that Barack Obama is not the commander-in-chief and he's not accepting his orders of deployment because, like I said, he was a foreign-born citizen. We also have, people like Representative John Campbell, who is leading an initiative right now in Congress to, more specifically, in the House to making a bill to basically prove that if you're going to be run for president, you have to prove you're a United States citizen by some reason. And they're just adding fuel to this fire that's supporting, like he denies on camera in an interview that this is directed towards Obama, but because people like this and all these other representatives that are behind him, I didn't write the whole list down, sorry. But they won't come out and say, hey, I believe he's a citizen, because they don't want to lose their right-wing nut job constituency, like that is full force behind this. Prime example is a couple weeks back, I believe it was a representative from Delaware. He's a Republican. He had a town hall meeting. Not want to talk about this movement at all or this issue. Just a town hall meeting, amongst his people in Delaware to see what they were feeling. And a woman stands up in the crowd and proclaims that she has a birth certificate in her hand, and why won't you people, I guess that's directed towards politicians in general, demand Barack Obama show his birth certificate. And, in this little outburst, she says, I want my country back. And it's funny that somebody chooses to use language such as, I want my country back. Because what that translates into me is that she's simply stating, I want the way things were back in the day when white folks were running it. That's what that sounds like to me. It's, rose-colored language for racism to me. I don't know. That's just me. It's kind of funny that, like, he's facing these, things, but it's not the first time. I'll admit it's not the first time this has happened. John McCain faced the same problem. People were saying since he was born in the Panama Canal Zone that he wasn't truly a citizen. And I believe Barry Goldwater, this is back in the 60s, he was born in Arizona, in the Arizona Territory, when it's still a territory in the United States. And people gave him guff because they felt he wasn't a United States citizen. He wasn't born in the country. He was born in a territory that the United States owned. But we're not going to get in that. So it's not an exclusive incident, but it's kind of funny now that it's just running rampant, especially with, what I'm doing, adage of the internet. What I find really funny about this whole thing is, like, some of the things that come up, like there was, last week there was a document that surfaced that was the real birth certificate of Barack Obama from the Republic of Kenya, which is really funny because the Republic of Kenya didn't exist in 1961. It was still a British colony, and Kenya didn't come about till 1963, I believe. Also, people are arguing over, he's a citizen of Kenya, blah, 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 blah. It's funny, if you actually went and read anything about Kenya, Kenya's constitution does not allow its citizens as adults to carry dual citizenship. You're either a citizen of Kenya or you're not. As a child, you can carry dual citizenship, but up to the year, when you turn 21, you either got to declare your citizenship to Kenya or you're not a Kenyan.